In this video, we'll be revisiting the Imperial Stormtrooper for the Vintage Collection, and more specifically, it is the VC-231 Stormtrooper, arguably the best one that Hasbro has ever made, and is probably going to continue to stay that way, at least for a long time. So Hasbro wisely decided to repack this recently, and instead of it being a Walmart exclusive or transitioning over to Entertainment Earth, they decided to do a mass retail-wide release of this. Unfortunately, they did a cap on the amount of Stormtroopers you can order from any particular site. As you can see here, 6 was the most I could get off of Amazon. But I think Hasbro Pulse and Entertainment Earth probably doesn't do it, but I know at least most of the sites do a cap as to how many Stormtroopers you can get. But I'm perfectly happy with only adding 6 more. Not exactly sure how many Stormtroopers I have at this point. At some point I'll have to sit down and do a count, and then maybe do a video as to all the ones I have. But I know it's probably somewhere in the 50 to 100 range, which is plenty for me at this point. At least from here on out, I'll probably be slowing down on the amount of Stormtroopers I get. Of course, I'll try and get as many as I can within reason, but instead of doing large groups like this, I'll probably end up just doing 1 or 2 at most. So I will do a little bit of an unboxing. I plan to open all 6 of these on camera here, and I'm not going to be keeping any of the cards, unfortunately, because as you can see, at least with this sample here, you probably noticed already, each of the 6 Stormtroopers I have here have the Ring of Death on them, and it's very blatant. There's really no getting around that. And some of the samples I have a very beat up bubble as well, as you can see. It's kind of unfortunate. But I still did keep one carded from when it was a Walmart exclusive. The only differences between the two is like the warning label up at the top here, while it's missing here, and then the warning label down here instead of being down here. So that's interesting. But other than that, I think that's pretty much the same exact things for the front of the card. And of course on the back here, we do have some significant differences. It says, instead of advertising the action figures on the back, now we just have the one Stormtrooper advertised. And as you can see, this one has a regular description now. A pretty good one at that. So this one here is probably going to be the one I still keep carded, at least for a long while. Perhaps I'll get another one down the road if I find one in good condition, and then I'll open this one instead. We'll see. And then this Stormtrooper here is the one I reviewed about 1.5 years ago, the exact one. At the time I did get 4 of these. I think I did the video for this, what was it, in February of 2023. I did put the E11 in the holster there. But without saying anything further, let's go ahead and open these up. And I think, just from what I've heard so far, there are a few differences in the paint apps between the Stormtroopers. I think people have pointed out as well that the paint is much more crisper on these newer samples compared to the previous one. Previous one obviously had some botched paint where like the brow there was painted off, or the lenses were painted off. A lot of things like that. But I think they kind of fixed that this time. And it looks like it's the standard E11, the newer one. One that has the basically the flashlight on the side, I assume. And unfortunately, none of these E11s really fit in the holster too well. Well, you know, that fits a lot better than I recall it being. I still think the older E11 fits pretty good, though. I think they could have done without the flashlight on the side. Not sure how accurate that is either. So before I open the rest, let's look at these side by side and see if there are any significant differences. And it's really hard to tell. I'm not really noticing anything that's hugely different between the two. Doesn't seem like Hasbro fixed the holes at the bottom of the feet either. Although I do notice that some customizers are starting to make stands where you insert the foot into it instead of it being a peg, which I think is very creative. Might have to invest in some of those at some point. If you watched my previous video about the unboxing of the TIE Fighter, I did mention at some point I hope to do a display with the Imperial Shuttle and using that TIE Fighter to go along with it as like an escort. And I'll have to get a second one. And I plan on using these Stormtroopers to help fill out that scene. Yeah, the paint is pretty crisp on these. Hopefully at some point Hasbro does a troop builder pack of these. I think a lot of people would really welcome that. I do have the original troop builder pack of the Stormtroopers, the one that had before the rocker ankles. I have a few of those, but unfortunately they're very expensive on the aftermarket now. And I'm sure a lot of people would prefer these newer ones. I'll have to do a video on that pack at some point. Might take the pauldron from that pack and then use it for one of these guys. And while I was getting ready to make this video, I was thinking about maybe it's about time I get the Tantive 4 set out and make a display with that. Now that we have Leia and a new Vader, and all these Stormtroopers will go along with it. I only have one set though. I wouldn't mind getting at least a second one at some point, but I was hoping it would go really deep on clearance. It's kind of been on sale for a couple years now at this point. I was hoping to get it for like $20 or less. It doesn't seem like it's going to go below around 30. Kind of like what they did with the Imperial hover tank a few years ago, where it went down to, what was it, like $12.99. And as you can see, every single one of these cards had the Ring of Death on it. Now look at that. Oops. It's hard to get their ankles in the appropriate spot. It's almost kind of ratchety, where you can only have them in certain positions. Let's see. I don't think there's any differences in the shade of white either between the two. Different ones. And let's see how they look with the man himself. Very nice. Yeah, I think I will be doing the Tantive 4 set here really soon, which is a good opportunity because I've been wanting to do the Rebel Fleet Trooper Troop Builder Pack video as well. And I can do that, and then the original TBC Rebel Fleet Trooper, and then of course the one that's packed in with the Tantive 4 set. Great opportunities. And no real apparent differences between the two. It look like the thermal detonator is kind of shaved at the end there. It's much less defined. Kind of see that. See if some of these other ones are like that too. Yeah, they're all kind of like that. Very subtle difference. But I think that's pretty much all there is to show. Happy to add 6 more Stormtroopers to the collection, especially of the best Stormtrooper. I still really like the Rogue One Imperial Stormtrooper as well, and it's the one without the rocker ankles, and then it's missing the holster. And the biggest plus for that one is you can actually put it on a stand. The hole in the foot is deep enough to where it'll work. Yeah, at some point I'll have to invest in the stands that the foot slides into here pretty soon. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this revisit of the VC, was it 231? Yeah, the VC 231 Stormtrooper. Would I recommend this Stormtrooper for your collection? I totally would. If you don't have one already, I suggest you go ahead and get one. At least one. And like I said, it should be plentiful online as of now. But no telling how long that'll stay, because I'm sure loads of these are being sold all the time. But anyways, that concludes this unboxing slash revisit slash review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for play more in the future. There'll always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support, and check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.